Kayode Akindele, partner at 46 Parallels, joins me now for a market update ahead of the opening bell, of course, with a focus on the insurance space. Thank you so much, Kayode, for joining us. The market is still we're still in a bear market. Obviously, we're officially in a bear market now. It doesn't look like anything is going to break this cycle perhaps anytime soon. But just give us your focus for what could be key drivers for the market today, and what stocks you think could provide a better entry point for investors today.
I think we've seen a general trend in the emerging market and frontier markets where investors are moving their money out. And considering in June, just over 50% of the trades in the Nigerian stock exchange were foreign investors, before you're going to see this bear trend continuing. I think people wait for market news. Today is a big day in terms of the power privatization. That could give a fill-up to investors and from the economical front going forward for tomorrow. But I think today you continue to see a bear market going down. There have been slight information coming out from some companies, financial information which isn't quite good. Owando wasn't that good, but GTB provided, according to analysts' estimates, pretty good results. So that could see an uptick this today. But generally, I think the bear market will continue.
Okay, well, let's talk about the insurance subsector. While we've been seeing this bearish trend, it looks like investors have shifted their focus, as it were, to insurance stocks. Perhaps so we're expecting some earnings, but I know one or two of them, Consolidated and Allied Insurance and Cornerstone, have actually been rising up in the last couple of sessions. What do you think could be major attraction for the insurance subsector right now?
I think the insurance sector has always lagged behind the banking sector in the financials. There's been a quiet reform process going on in the insurance sector. First started with the split between life and non-life insurance, and then the M&A given by the CBN's instructions for banks to get out of the insurance sector. So there have been some reforms in the insurance sector, but investors haven't really seen the growth they expect in the insurance sector. But they expect that to start now, especially with insurance really grows off ancillary financial products like mortgages. Consumer financing helps grow the insurance sector, and now the insurance regulators is trying to push the things like having motor insurance, which is a law, which are trying to make sure that's enforced to try and grow the insurance sector. So I think there's more interest in that.
Now, it would seem that, obviously they're doing a lot, the regulators, NICOM and, the federal government, but it doesn't seem to be having much of an impact. And then the insurance subsector in other climes, particularly in developed nations, is a very integral part of the financial sector, but we're yet to see that happen here. We have a large population. I mean, even if they collect, business insurance companies collect, very few pockets of cash from Nigerians, at least when they put it all together, that could be a very good source of short and long-term funding, but we're still not seeing that happen.
We don't really have an insurance culture in Nigeria. And that will grow with, as I said, we move financial products. As you see mortgages grow, banks will require people take out life insurance and building insurance for mortgages. So that will grow as more mortgages are given out. I see more consumer finance. You have people like Renaissance Credit, other consumer finance people coming to the market. They require people to take insurance on the commodities they buy through consumer finance. So that will grow with time. But as we continue, we have to continue building that insurance culture for more people to start seeing insurance as something necessary.
In terms of awareness, do you think perhaps the regulators could, because I know that's been part of the plan to, better awareness, but it doesn't seem to be working. Do you think perhaps they should put more, step up on that? I
think they should put on awareness, and also I think it builds on also insurance companies as well, because the average Nigerian doesn't think the insurance company is going to pay up, in a sense. For the bigger deals, like when the oil and gas and stuff, insurance companies will pay up because they're under pressure to pay up from bigger companies. But for the average man on the street, if you ask them, they'll say, well, if I take out insurance and something happens, it takes a long time for the insurance company to pay up, if they actually do pay up.
Well, they claim that they have better claims, claim file, I'm not sure what it's called. In terms, when they put out the statements, they also include that, yes, in terms of people filing in claims, we did attend to that, we've seen a significant growth in that. And
you just have to broadcast that more, so people get more confidence in the industry going forward, because right now there's not that much confidence in the industry that people, especially the general public, that the people will pay, if they pay their premiums, that when something does happen, insurance companies will pay up. So I think if they continue to awareness of that, the fact that, look, your claims, as long as they're legitimate, will be paid up in a timely manner, I think that will gender confidence in the industry.
Okay, let's go back to the insurance stocks on the NSE. Many of them were set to be trading relatively high PE ratios compared to the average market Ps. Is this still true as we speak?
Yes, it is. I think you're seeing as more interest in the insurance sector has blown up in the last few days. That has tempered a bit, but compared to the rest of the industry, that's been quite high.
Now, after the capitalization, where the NICOM asked many of them to capitalize, of course, there were talk that many of them will begin to return to very good profit and justify current PE ratios. When do you think we could see that happening?
Well, I think there are two ways into looking at it from sense. You have to see an increase in premiums and people taking up premiums in the insurance industry. We haven't really seen.
Okay, so it boils back to growing the
insurance financial markets, because right then they capitalize, they have more capital, and they go out. But until you start seeing more of an insurance control in Nigeria, they're not really going to take off. And I think the real catalyst for that will be other financial products like mortgages, consumer finance. When people are compelled to take insurance for those kind of services, then you see the insurance going to be really taking off. In oil and gas, you now have Nigerian consortiums that are taking part in insurance in the oil and gas sector, which is good, but that's a specialty area. You want to see the movement in general insurance, also life insurance.
What about Empower? And incidentally, today is the deadline for those investors for the DISCOs and the GENCOs to pay the balance 75%. What do you think in terms of those who are going to pay? Do you think we're going to see full compliance today?
I think in terms of the power sector, I think is a key there, as you said. There are already reports that some investors have paid. I think the deadline is 5 p.m. today. And the NCP are being very clear, NCP and BP very clear that there's going to be no extension. If people don't pay, then reserve bidders will come in. I think for a lot of investors, they put 25% down. So the initiative is on them to make the 75%. The government is going through the process of paying the liabilities, which has been a big stumbling block for the PHCN workers. They completed that for the GENCOs, they've announced, and they're going to complete that for the DISCOs on Friday. So the impetus is really on the companies to make up the 75% payments. And I think a majority of them will pay up by today.
But do you know those who have paid at the moment?
There've been no
Is that a significant number enough for the government to be confident that yes, the others will pay? Because I'm told that if a significant number of them pay up, then the rest of them who still say they have issues, before they put the rest of the money down, will perhaps be asked to step down, and then the reserve bidders, give it a chance.
There are reports that 5 or 6 of them have paid already, as of yesterday.
So out of 100%, how do we say 80% of them have paid? Is it a significant portion?
I think it's closer to maybe 40–50% than 80% have paid so far. But they have until 5 p.m. today, and as most financial people will tell you, they will wait until the last minute to make the payment, because why give someone free funds? Okay,
because we did hear also in the run-up to this deadline that some of them, actually tabled some complaints and reservations. Some of them said they're not, because they're backed by, lenders, banks, who are also nervous about the amount of money loans they've given to this investor. They're saying that, look, we're not certain. We need to know that the government has completely dealt with labor issues. We need to know that the government is going to, put its money where its mouth is. And some 1 or 2 other issues. Do you think that could also be a stumbling block?
It's important for government to keep to the legal ramifications, the CPs it put forward, and not all the CPs have been met so far. One of them was the liabilities of the PHCN company should be met, but the government is in the process of doing that. I think there has to be a bit of confidence from both sides. Confidence that the government will follow through, and confidence from the government to follow through, and confidence from the government that the people will pay. I mean, part of the liabilities the government is trying to pay off, they want to use the money they get from this to pay them off. So it's almost like a chicken and egg scenario. But I think going forward, the government has done a majority of what it was supposed to do, and seems in the process of completing the rest. So I think there's shown enough confidence that people should do it. I think also the government in the past has shown that in a process where the government's at fault, they have returned money to investors where things have gone wrong. So I think investors should be confident in the fact that if the government doesn't keep up its own side of the bargain and they've paid up, there's a process where they can get their money back.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Kayode Akindele, for sharing your thoughts with us. Kayode Akindele, partner at 46 Parallels, talking us through market trading.